mention. Oh, yes, sorry. Mate.
Is it no longer sticky? Like, what's the issue here?
Hold hands, we are the light! Red mate.
Red mate.
Red mate.
Red.
Mate. This is Ant.
This one is Chris.
There we go, got it right this time. Today we are going to look at doing halftime team talks. I think halftime team talks are something, whether you're on the end of a bit of a drumming or you're up at halftime, games in a balance, halftime team talks are super important and can make it go either way. Across the board, whether it be Sunday League, professional outfits, or just your metro side on the weekend, they vary, but I think there's a lot of similarities that do come across all halftime team talks. I don't know if you would agree with that one.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've not been in every change room, but I've been in, I guess, a couple to know there's some similarities. But yeah, again, it's at a certain level that I've played, so I've not seen it at the very top either. But
yeah,
what would you say is something that you've seen? A common halftime
team talks, I think probably the most common place to start is just players coming in with like the expert knowledge of just like, you're not doing this properly, you haven't done this, and you turn around and just like, yeah, but neither of you. Like, there's always at least 2 to 3 experts in the room at all times in every halftime team talk.
So the guy that's done like nothing all half, he's now like Pep Guardiola at halftime.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like, just comes in. I mean, he might have actually done something as well, but across all halftime team talks, you have the players who are the experts.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, obviously what you need is like a manager or a coach who's going to come in and decide, but then you get all these different opinions piping up. And I was like, yeah, we need to do this. Oh, yeah, you're not doing this, you need to do this. And then everyone's coaching you. All of a sudden they're the expert. Before the game, nothing was said. All of a sudden now they're a whole new person. They've got all the ideas. Yeah, you're not seeing it from like, oh yeah, this is our best player, he's the most experienced, it makes sense. But it's like, it could be anyone. It's just like a trait that someone's just all of a sudden piping up.
Yeah, they've watched All or Nothing, seen Mikel Arteta make one halftime team talk, and all of a sudden
they've got the light bulb out.
Hold hands, we are the light. Yeah, so I think the expert is always in every change room.
Even like the way they've like, hey guys, look, I used to play 5 years ago in another country doing this. Trust me, we need to start doing this. To forget about the whole season in the last 45 minutes from this point onwards, we need to do this. It's going to turn the game around. I think it has a huge impact on, like, depending if you're up a half time. If you're down, these opinions come out even stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you're winning, it's hard for them to come out and be like, we need to change it, like, here's what we do from here, because clearly something's probably working up to that point. But I've definitely noticed that there's always people piping up.
I think for me, something that I've seen regularly across sort of all levels is there's always that one guy that's desperate to get his kit off. Whether it's his shirt, whether it's his boots, he's doing something, they're just desperate to start taking the clothes off, and you're like, what are you doing? Like,
I've seen people take their boots off, and I'm like, are you done for the day? Like, they need to go back on. Like, like, oh, let me just give my feet a rest for 15 minutes.
Yeah. No, for sure, if you've got new boots, like, I can understand it, but it's that person who's continuously, no matter what, just takes them off, takes the socks off, gets the shin pads out, takes the kit off, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
We've got 15 minutes. Like, half of this time's getting changed again.
Yeah, no, I don't get that, because for me, like, putting stuff on, there's like a bit of a system to it. Like, people can be a bit superstitious.
Yeah.
And for me, it's such a chore, like, putting it, especially if you got like tying your laces and putting your socks on right and everything like that. And then someone's just like, oh yeah, rip them off. Like, let me just take a break for a minute. There's now a 15-minute gap where I don't need to wear this. May as well take it off then. Yeah. And then I'll chuck it back on later. Yeah, I don't really get that, but you definitely see it. But then on the other side of that, and again, I mentioned it before, but I've seen people putting on like more tape on. Like, however much they put on, they're like, oh, clearly wasn't enough. No. It's impacting my game. I've not got enough. I'm going to score way more goals if I get more tape on there.
Yeah, need the studs attached more firm.
Yeah, like those shin pads need to be on tighter, or these socks need to be taped down, or whatever it is. Before the game, obviously the tape's gone around, everyone's taped up. Half time, there's some guys like, no, need more tape. And I'm like,
what for?
I'm like, you've got enough tape on. Is it no longer sticky? Like, what's the issue here? Yeah, that's definitely one I've seen.
So for you, what do you think makes a poor halftime team talk? From coaching perspective, from a player perspective, what would you go in, or you come out from a halftime team talk and you're like, yeah, that was pretty bad, or we didn't really get anything there?
A big thing, I think, if you're losing, you'd want to come out thinking, okay, like I'm convinced we can turn this around. Like they've made a few good points, or we've made some changes that I believe in. Oh yeah, I recognise that was an issue too. We did need to change that. If you're like losing at half time and then you come out and essentially all you've heard is, okay, we're going to play exactly the same, or people have made excuses, oh, we were unlucky there, or like, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Like I always think, you know, that 45 minutes, that team was better. Something needs to change. If you come out and do the same thing again, I would expect the same result.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's a poor team talk where if you're behind at halftime and the coach says stick out. I mean, if it's like one goal and it was unlucky, or maybe it's a penalty, but then you're almost playing for like another 0-0 then. So then like you're like, okay, second half we'll do the exact same, but minus that penalty, it'll be 0-0. And then you lose 1-0. Yeah. So like there needs to be a change regardless,
yes.
I think.
I think one big thing that I dislike hearing or talking about is when managers, coaches, the person in charge starts being like, when I was a player, like, oh, I wouldn't let this happen, or I wouldn't stand, and just like, yeah, but you're not a player.
Yeah, I forgot you were the best player ever.
Yeah. But also, what you would or wouldn't do has no relevance on the game we're about to go and play. Do you know? Like, it doesn't I forgot you were meant to do it, so now I've got to go and play.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's screw this. Like, you come back on the pitch, let me coach. Well, I'll take that role. You wind the clock back 10 years to when you were doing it, and then just replicate it.
Yeah, no, like I've never understood that one ever of just like, you know, oh, when I was centre back, like I was marshalling the defence like this. It's just like, good job, man. Like, so what are we meant to go and do now? I'll just be like you? Like,
yeah, like when I was younger, like I was like 6 inches taller, like I just get everything out of there.
Yeah, that's one that I've always like hated, and I'm like, I'm just disconnected now from anything you're going to say further on because we're making this about you.
Yeah, they've used the halftime time to go, okay, let me just tell you about the playing career I once had. Let me show you my Wikipedia page with all my history there.
Yeah. I guess another gripe, kind of talking on the coaches thing, is then when coaches try and absolve themselves of blame, of just like, you're the boys that have to drag yourselves out of this. It's just like, yeah, we need to physically go on the pitch and do it, but we're looking to you for some kind of tactical input or some kind of method for how we're going to do this. Like, it's, you know, I can't do any more than this now. It's just like, oh, isn't that your job to do more?
So they're so stubborn in their system that like, this is obviously going to work 100% of the time. The fact that we're losing, it's now your fault.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, like, I've been on the end where you've conceded a few goals in the first half, comes in at half time, and it's just like, if we want to turn this result around, it's going to have to come from you. And it's just like, yeah, but you're the one making the decisions, substitutions, the tactics. As you said before, there's clearly something gone wrong in this game where we're not up to scratch compared to them. So what are you doing to rectify that? Because if we go out and do the same thing again and we try to change it, well, we're not going to, because we would have done that in the first half and we would have tried to change the goals we were conceding. So you, by saying, oh, it's all on us now, is just absolving yourself of a blame that is on you anyway. You're just trying to get out of it somehow.
What you do need is a coach, or even just one person, whether it's the captain, to have like, okay, this is the decision, this is how we're going to play. When they start saying it's on you, you've now got 11 players on that pitch with their own ideas, or like, oh, okay, yeah, it's on me, then I'll do this. And there's going to be someone else doing something different. So everyone needs to be as one and have the same idea and have the same plan. So it doesn't really make sense to put it on the players like you've said. Yeah, I'll never get that. Because the very first thing when you said about there's all these experts, if you're like, oh, sweet, yeah, okay, I'll listen to this guy. You got 3 guys over here, listen to the other one.
Yeah. Then
everyone's going to be doing different things. Like it's a team for a reason. And you need everyone doing the same thing, and that's what's going to make it work and make it efficient.
Yes. But ultimately that team is going off the leader and the person at the top. And that needs to then filter down. It's like, yeah, you know what you're doing. So then this is what I want you to do within that scope. I think another thing that I absolutely despise is just, let's go out there and play our brand of football. Keep the ball. And it's just like, oh, I was going to go out there and just kick the ball away, like straight away. Like, what does keep the ball mean? Like, you've not gone into any detail of how we're going to do that, what it looks like when our centre halves have got the ball. What are the sixers going to come in and try and get off their feet? You know, how are we going to play? Like, where do the fullbacks come into this and all that kind of thing? Are our wide players cutting in? Are they staying? You know, all these things. How are we going to do it? But our brand of football is just keep the ball. So make sure we go and play our brand of football.
We're behind on goals, so let's at least win the possession stat. Like, let's just keep the ball. Don't worry about scoring. So long as we've got more than 50% at the end of the game, that's a win.
Yeah, but like, what player really goes out and being like, actually, I don't really care too much about the ball. Like, I just want to go and run. Like,
Is it maybe more like be a bit safer? But even still, I doubt they'd be encouraging that. Like, I said, like whipping it across. Just turn around, play it backwards, just keep the ball. Like, you still want to be progressing and attacking
100%.
And doing productive things. There's no point just passing it around for the sake of it. Oh, yeah, we've passed around for 10 minutes now. Like, should we try it, like, going forward?
Yeah. And I think for me, a lot of the time, it's like that's where the coach or the manager needs to put their philosophy or their ideas into it of the overbranching is we're keeping the ball, but how are we doing that? And what does that ultimately achieve to? Rather than just being like, boys, go keep the ball.
So you mean it's even like the instruction to do that, it still needs further instruction?
Oh, for sure. That is like...
Because it's like them saying, like, oh, guys, just go out and just win.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, go out and just like score.
Yes.
And then if they score, maybe score another one.
Yeah,
like,
I think you need to outline some tactics or some game phases of play that as a result of ABC, we end up keeping the ball. The tactic isn't to keep the ball because... obviously, we all want to do that. So having that as our tactic, oh, this is the formation we're going to play, 4-3-3, so-and-so's here, and here, keep the ball. Yeah, of course. Like, isn't that like a given?
Yeah, it's almost like a pointless conversation.
Yeah.
Like, go out there and try to win. Like, yes, we were trying to do that already.
Yeah, we'll play our style of play and keep the ball. Well, what is our style of play? And that's how we keep the ball. Like, you jump to the outcome before the method.
Yeah, they're just telling you to get, like, a result. You're like, no, I just need actually the instructions.
The instructions, yeah, for sure. Like, that's one I cannot get around.
No, one I've seen, which I think is strange, is, it's obviously not professional level. So people during the week, they're, like, eating whatever, fast food, drinking beers, whatever it might be. But then come half time, they're like, okay, where are the oranges? Like, I need all these like electrolytes in me. Like, they're now gone from like the average Joe to like the pinnacle of athlete. They're like, no, I can't eat that at half time. Got like the lollies out, get the sugars in. Like, the half time is where people will just all of a sudden be like, no, okay, now I'm like in the zone. Which is so funny because either side of that, the night before they've gone out, had a big night, and all of a sudden they think these oranges at half time are just going to turn them into like Ronaldo for the second half, which is just so funny just to get that flip side where they just like, okay, forget about everything I've done up to now. This is going to solve all my issues.
So are there any things that make a good team talk or a good halftime space for you? What sort of things would be in there?
I guess it'd be similar to what I've already said, where you walk out and you think, oh, okay, yep, I've understood what I've heard. I've been given this role or this duty, or we're going to make a change, and I believe it myself that this will help. Or if you are like up at half time and it's like, oh, you get a bit of encouragement. Okay, you're doing well. Keep doing this. Yeah, it's more just kind of coming back out and you think what I've heard there is going to either spur me on, or I know my duty now for the next 45 minutes. Because before a game, you can make all these plans and you go out there and it's completely different to what you're expecting as a curveball, whatever it is. But half time, you've got the benefit of playing 45 minutes and knowing, oh, okay, this guy's really good. He keeps doing this. The whole team are doing this. They keep going down this wing. They're playing a certain style. So now, half time, you've now got so much more knowledge. It's like, all right, now let's use what we've just learnt and seen in that 45 minutes and apply it. So, yeah, for me, I think obviously the result is dependent, but if you're up at half time, you kind of want to walk out going, okay, our system's clearly working and we've perfected it, we've made some tweaks to make it even better. Or, if you're losing, I want to walk out going, oh, okay, these changes have been made and we've discussed this and I'm confident now we can bring this back.
I think for me, ultimately, each manager or each coach is going to have their own way of doing it, but I think I have seen the benefits and felt the benefits from where, kind of touching on both, where the players are given space or permission to talk amongst themselves without any kind of major repercussions. So like, you're doing this, you're doing that, and then the coach is like, okay, that's it, enough. So almost providing a space to let it all out, but then ultimately the coach comes in over the top and is just like, here's what I have to say and this is final.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's half time, the instructions are small, they're short, they're sharp, but they're specific to where we're going wrong or going right, and making any tactical changes where necessary from there, and kind of making that as the final thing. Like the coach or the manager, the person in charge, has the final say, and it's short, it's sharp, it's direct and specific, and then everyone can go out and go again. And the people can get changed who got unchanged before, who had their showers at half time. Yeah, all the rest.
They've already wasted time listening to the coach.
But I think like any kind of structure and organisation is going to be of benefit to a halftime team talk, where in most settings, it just seems like chaotic and frantic of just like, so-and-so saying this, so-and-so saying that, Billy's not even listening, like, you know, all these different things happen. I think anytime where you have clear structure, where the players can speak, then they shut up and listen to when the coach speaks.
No, even like in this like specific situations where you're like linking up with teammates, whether you're like playing on the right side of midfield and you're like chatting to the right winger saying, hey, you know, when I get it, you make that run and whatever. Those conversations at halftime are very beneficial. Or you might be chatting with the right back and can get like a small group of players who play closely together on the pitch, and then you kind of can suss it out and have those quick chats. But then, yeah, something like that you can kind of leave to the players, but then the managers, I guess, would have to decide like an overall kind of game style or certain things they want to do or they want to play it like.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's similar to like what you don't want to see and what you do want to hear at halftime are kind of like the opposites.
The opposites,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the best halftime snacks?
Snacks. Oh, lolly snakes.
Yeah.
Oranges.
Yeah. Watermelon's been in there a few times.
A few Powerades or Gatorades. Some kind of sports drink, little treat to look forward to.
Yeah.
That's probably all I've really gone for.
Yeah.
Or gone near. Or had the opportunity to have. Yeah. I've never had someone like serving like hot dogs at half time and go, no, not today. Like,
just a casual pizza slice.
Yeah, they're not normally on option at half time.
Yeah. No, I think anything that's just that fast releasing carbohydrate, isn't it? Just get it in you.
I guess the only other thing I would mention is like, you know, at a much lower level, Sunday League, some guys played like 45 minutes and he's absolutely gassed. and he's not gone back on. Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of where the manager's like, yeah, mate, you've played well, you're done for the day. And even the guy's like, thanks. That was all.
Yeah, it was probably like 10, 15 minutes too long.
Yeah, I've given it my all out there and I am cooked.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, that was our chat on halftime team talk. Some of the things we like to see, some of the things maybe we don't. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Anything else to add?
Yeah, let us know what you think makes a good halftime team talk, or what is a bad one, or maybe some experiences you've had, stories you've heard, or a change room you've been in where someone said something. We'd like to hear them as well.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, mate. That was
Chris.
That was Ant.
Yeah.
Red, mate.
Red, mate.